Hello, welcome to a journey where we unravel the stories we've been told about manufacturing. Let's dive into the world of making stuff, exploring why it holds such a significant place in our hearts and minds. For decades, a compelling narrative has shaped our understanding that a nation's strength and the prosperity of its people are deeply tied to factories, assembly lines, and the production of tangible goods. This global manufacturing myth is so deeply ingrained in our culture it feels like common sense and unquestionable truth. It paints a vivid picture, a dedicated worker heading to the factory each day, earning a steady paycheck, supporting a family. It's a job that's seen as secure, respectable, and the backbone of the community. Politicians often promise to bring back these jobs as if they're simply misplaced, waiting to be found and restored. But myths, while comforting and familiar, aren't always true, especially when the world around us is constantly evolving, and indeed the world has changed dramatically. The global economy today is vastly different from what it was in the 1950s, with new challenges and opportunities. Clinging to this myth can actually hold us back, leading to poor decisions and missed opportunities for growth and innovation. So, let's dig deeper. Where did this myth originate? Why does it persist so strongly? And what does the data reveal about manufacturing in the 21st century? We'll examine the real consequences of chasing this ghost, from trade wars that disrupt economies to environmental damage that affects us all. Most importantly, we'll explore what comes next. How can we adapt and thrive in this new era? Because the end of one story is the start of another. It's a chance to redefine what success looks like. And the future? That's something we get to build together with creativity, innovation, and collaboration at the forefront. To understand the power of the manufacturing myth, let's rewind to the mid-20th century in the US and Western Europe. This era is often romanticized as a time of economic prosperity and industrial might, where factories were bustling with activity and the hum of machinery was the soundtrack of progress. This was the so-called golden age of manufacturing. Factory jobs were plentiful, unions were strong, and there was a widespread promise of a middle-class life. It was a time when the American dream seemed within reach for many, with the factory floor serving as a stepping stone to a better future. It's the world of old movies, where the factory was the heart of the town and jobs meant stability. The factory whistle marked the rhythm of daily life, and the community thrived around these industrial hubs. But this golden age wasn't golden for everyone. Beneath the surface of prosperity, there were deep-seated inequalities and divisions. Women and people of color were often excluded from these opportunities. They faced systemic barriers and discrimination that kept them on the fringes of this economic boom. The story of the well-paid factory worker is true, but it's not the whole story. While some families enjoyed the fruits of industrial labor, others struggled to break through the glass ceiling of opportunity. It's a selective memory that ignores those left out. The narrative often overlooks the struggles of those who were marginalized and denied the same chances. So, when we long for a return to that era, we have to ask, whose past are we really missing? Are we yearning for a time that was only golden for a select few? The myth simplifies a messy history, glossing over inequality and struggle. It paints a picture of uniform success, ignoring the protests and picket lines that were also part of the story. Nostalgia offers easy answers, but history is never that simple. It's a complex tapestry of triumphs and tribulations, of progress and setbacks. The world has moved on, and we can't go back. As we look to the future, we must learn from the past, acknowledging both its achievements and its shortcomings. If the golden age of manufacturing is truly behind us, if the era of bustling factories and steady jobs has faded into history, why do we still cling so tightly to the idea of manufacturing as the backbone of our economy and our identity? Factories are visible. Massive buildings filled with real people producing tangible products you can hold in your hands. They're easy to point to as proof of progress. In contrast, work like coding, data analysis, or even healthcare can feel invisible, abstract, happening behind screens or in places we rarely see. It's harder to grasp, less concrete. There's a deep comfort in making things. Manufacturing feels straightforward, productive, and easy to picture. You see the raw materials go in and finished goods come out. It's a process that makes sense. Politicians love this myth because it's a simple, powerful promise. It taps into nostalgia for a time when jobs seemed secure and communities thrived around the factory floor. It's a story of lost identity and the hope of regaining it. It's far easier to promise the return of a steel mill than to explain the complexities of retraining workers for new, unfamiliar industries. The old story is just more appealing. The factory becomes a symbol of security, pride, and belonging, a place where hard work is rewarded and the community comes together. But the image we hold of manufacturing is outdated, frozen in time. The world has moved on, even if our imagination hasn't. Today's factories are dominated by robots and automation. Instead of thousands of workers on assembly lines, you'll find machines doing much of the work, with only a handful of people overseeing the process. We're holding on to a world that barely exists anymore, a world of steady jobs and lifelong employment that's mostly disappeared. The reality of making stuff has changed dramatically. Advanced technology, 3D printing, and smart machines have transformed what manufacturing looks like. Our expectations need to change too. Still, the myth persists. It's visible, comforting, and politically useful, a story that's easy to sell, even if it's no longer true. But it's time to look past the nostalgia and see things as they really are. Our future depends on understanding the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Let's look at the numbers. In developed countries, manufacturing jobs have been declining for decades. In the US, 1 in 4 jobs were in manufacturing in the 1960s. Now it's less than 1 in 10. The main reason isn't offshoring, it's productivity. Technology and automation mean factories produce more with fewer people. Manufacturing output is near all-time highs, even as jobs disappear. This is the productivity paradox: more stuff, fewer workers. Bringing back millions of factory jobs is impossible without undoing decades of progress. The jobs haven't just moved, they've changed. We're not deindustrializing, we're post-industrial. Wealth and employment have shifted elsewhere. The data is clear. The old model isn't coming back. It's time to face the new reality. Let's talk about robots and automation. The fear is real. The robots are taking our jobs. But technology has always changed work. Tractors replaced farmhands, washing machines replaced hours of labor. Automation in factories is just the latest chapter. Modern manufacturing is high-tech. Engineers, technicians, and data scientists run the show. These are good jobs, but they require new skills. Old factory work was often repetitive and dangerous. Automation makes work safer and more interesting. The challenge isn't stopping robots, it's preparing people to work alongside them. We need to rethink education and invest in lifelong learning. The conversation should be, how do we adapt, not how do we stop progress? The robots are here and more are coming. We can see this as a threat, or as an opportunity for better, safer, more fulfilling work. Let's choose opportunity. Chasing the manufacturing past has real costs. One is the rise of trade wars, tariffs meant to protect local industries. But tariffs spark retaliation, hurting exports and raising prices for everyone. Instead of a manufacturing boom, we get a lose-lose trade war. Meanwhile, focusing on old factories means missing out on future industries. Every dollar spent reviving the past is a dollar not spent on tech, green energy, or services. The global economy is shifting. Services, technology, and sustainability are where growth happens. While we argue about steel, others invest in AI, renewables, and biotech. The opportunity cost is huge. We risk getting left behind. The manufacturing myth makes us look backward, not forward. We can't drive by staring in the rearview mirror. The future belongs to those who invest in what's next. Let's not miss it. There's another problem with the old manufacturing model: pollution. Factories powered by fossil fuels fueled the climate crisis and polluted air and water. The myth ignores this environmental cost, romanticizing smokestacks as progress. Do we really want to bring back the smog and acid rain? Modern manufacturing can be cleaner, but it's still resource-intensive. A future beyond the old model means a chance for a sustainable economy. The green economy, solar, wind, sustainable agriculture, offers millions of jobs. The future of making stuff must be a green future. If the old manufacturing dream is over, what's next? We have a blueprint. It's built on 3 pillars: education, services, and sustainability. First, education. Vocational schools, community colleges, and lifelong learning for a changing economy. A skilled, adaptable workforce is our greatest asset. Second, embrace the service economy. Service jobs, healthcare, tech, design, teaching, are vital and growing. They're not less than factory jobs. They're the backbone of modern economies. Third, build on sustainability. The green transition is the biggest opportunity of our time. New solutions, new companies, new jobs. From carbon capture to sustainable cities, this is where growth will come. By leading in sustainability, we create jobs and export expertise. The future is smarter, cleaner, and more inclusive. So, where does this leave us? The global manufacturing myth is a powerful but outdated story. The data shows we're making more stuff with fewer people thanks to productivity and automation. Clinging to the myth leads to trade wars, missed opportunities, and environmental harm. But the end of an old story is an invitation to write a new one. The world isn't finished, it's a project, and you're the builders. Don't let anyone tell you the only path to a good life is through a factory door. Your future could be in tech, caregiving, clean energy, teaching, or art. The possibilities are bigger than the old myth ever imagined. Cultivate creativity, curiosity, and empathy. The future of making stuff is about making a difference. It's about building a healthier, more just, and sustainable world. The blueprint isn't finished, so let's get to work.